Ah! All right, so I guess we were busy getting our stuff set, and then we finally got going here. So, hello, Chris, Calvin, are you there, Calvin? Calvin is there. Welcome, Calvin. Calvin's clean shaven. It's like he's got a haircut. I know he needs a little bit of haircut, but he's clean shaven. Doesn't look like like a wild man, which is awesome. Welcome to an awesome day. Haley Marie is here as well. Today is an interesting day because kind of a weird day. So we're going to be taking notes. We've got some people who helped with the book. They're going to be here. Welcome to FMTrain.tv. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FMTrain.tv. So today is kind of a little bit kind of an open Q&A day because we're talking about the book, but the book is really, this book is designed for Megans and bunnies specifically, and then there's bits and pieces in here for more advanced people along the way. But it's primarily, it says the FileMaker book for novices, right? And this was last updated for FileMaker 17. We did a 16 and 17 version. We skipped 18 because 18 didn't have enough in it. And then Claris went through this process of let's rename the company, let's get rid of the old managers, get new managers in here, etc. So we've been having to update this. So we're going to cover this in a little bit. So we sent the book out to people. I've got some comments from Kyle on it. If it's kind of an open-ended kind of question, Haley's also here. She's been editing on this quite a bit. The goal, of course, was to, for those of you wondering what's the difference between this book and the previous editions, right? Chapters 1, 2, 3 are brand new. Chapters 9 has been reorganized and brand new because when we shot this originally, Calvin, if you want to minimize yourself just for a little bit, and Calvin, if you have any suggestions or comments along the way, feel free. People can still see your face over here in the corner. Okay, so you're still on screen, so don't do anything too unsavory. So what we did is that the add-ons were, so if you look in here, we went to down here in chapter 9, we added the add-ons, and basically APIs were fairly kind of new with 17. The add-ons were really, really, really new, and we really weren't sure where they would go. So we put them in the miscellaneous section. Clearly add-ons are more of a thing. And so as a result, it has its own section. So we're trying to frame that conversation. Once again, I start writing the book, and I have to keep reminding myself it's not for Kyle, and it's not for the guy who complained. They're supposed to be senior engineers who know everything, right? So if you know everything, why are you watching my videos, right? So anyway, so the idea was for me to frame this for Megan, right? I think about Megan, right? And understanding kind of her loose understanding of the world. And then at the same time, I need to be positive in here while also adjusting for certain, I guess, missteps you could say that have been made by certain companies, right? And as those missteps are made, how do you address those, right? You really don't want to sit and complain about it in print of all things, right? But what do you say about it? Like if people want to talk about Claris Connect, what do we say about Claris Connect, right? How do we frame that conversation, right? And from everyone I've talked to, Claris Connect is very much targeted at brand new developers. So if Megan was brand new and she wanted to do API connections, she would pay for Claris Connect. That's what makes sense, right? So the book, well, you already have a copy of it now, Mr. Bunny. So if you want it now, you can have it. Bunny wants to know when it'll be released. As soon as I get the last of the edits done. But I would say probably go to print at Amazon. You can go to Amazon. If you do a search for it now, you'll get the 16, 17 books. They're like 20 bucks. These books cost me like 10 bucks a piece to make. So we sell them for 20 bucks. Just because if I made them $9.99 that made them at cost, no one would believe it's a real book, right? But the way we do the book is we have put big fat margins in it with lots of notes. People come in here and they actually notate and make notes, and they write and scribble in the book, which is the whole point. I wanted a book that I could put comments on the side. I don't know if you can see the comments here. The comments on the side, but then also line edit my own notes in here. And so I'm highlighting stuff, and the goal with the book is to take the pieces that you want, take the pieces you need, throw the rest back. If there's something you don't need, then don't use it, right? And if I make an error in here, like we found an error, like one guy at DevCon came to me, and Calvin, you were there, right? And a guy came up and had an error in the book, and what it was that my editors, I write something a certain way with certain English, like styling, and the English may not be correct, right? I frequently write the way I talk, which is problematic. And the problem is I had this editor who was working for me previously, and she aggressively would correct my English, but to the point where she would change the meaning of the sentences, which is dangerous, right? It's one thing like if you you know, but if you write something and they change the meaning of what is DC electric current, right? And red is no longer positive and black is no longer negative, or white and black, or whatever it is, and you change the colors because you phrase the sentence incorrectly, you know, people could die from that. So no one's going to die from a misspelling in here, but or a grammar change. But we run into stuff sometimes that, you know, the meaning gets changed, so we're looking for that, right? Questions about topics in here, things that we should cover, haven't covered. I know most of you probably haven't looked at this in any sort of real serious sort of way, which is fine. The older chapters have been mildly edited. For example, there's a section here on runtimes that had to be updated because there are no runtimes anymore. I've literally had people in tears with me over the last 2 months as I explained that the runtimes are gone, and they had their entire business strategy tied into that, right? And what are they supposed to do and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I've been warning people about that for a long time. So, yeah, live, right? Well, someone said they wanted an audio book of me, right? But the problem is it'd be really hard for me not to read this and then start riffing on it. Like, and did I tell you about the one? And did I tell you about this? Did I tell you about Nick? And blah, blah, blah. So, yes. So Scott Kane. Any of you folks have, you know, I mean, it's hard to ask the question, but so chapter 1 is like, what we did is that we covered the basics here, like why the hell did people use FileMaker, which a lot of people actually, even at Claris, get that wrong, which is kind of funny. And then I spent some time with definitions at the end of chapter 1. I needed to define some things because I realized that, like, if I give Megan, like if I ask Megan, what's FileMaker Cloud 1? What's FileMaker Cloud 2? What's FileMaker Server, right? And what does it work on and what doesn't it do, blah, 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 right? Yeah, audiobook is like the video training. Yeah, exactly. So, so we got definitions there. Then chapter 2, we dove in and we talk about the progression of learning. We're always talking about this. If I'm going to hit a button right here, you're going to see this pop up. This is the progression of learning, right? And so you get people down here like Calvin, and Calvin is the guy over here on the left, right? So, yeah, so the progression of learning. Everyone starts off, this is the bunny level or Megan level, and then they get kind of in this in-between level. And so as we're writing the book, we're trying to explain that when you hit in between here is when people start asking you for the FileMaker file that you're building. Can we share it? And oh, it's great. And then you put it on the server, and then the server has to be on the cloud so people can get to it from home. And then suddenly out of the blue, the performance goes off a cliff and you have to deal with that. And so my team was trying to define a level in between there, but we basically had to say, it's on the top of page 22, but in between, you know, this first level and second level, you know, beginning and intermediate, there's this part where you have to learn how to share it, right? So yeah, so the idea is that you run in this area where you start to share. So a lot of you have, I would say a vast majority of everyone here in this broadcast occupies space between this middle little spot in here. And actually, let me click over here because it's looking like I'm looking the wrong way. Here we go. So this little spot over here, right up there, right? And then intermediate, and then right here. We have a handful of people, and most of you have to answer this for where you are yourselves at. So where's the Kyles? Where's the TKs? Where's the Jakes? Where's the Pacos? Hey, Paco, Cameron, welcome, Russell. Everyone, that's Russell from Los Angeles, right? Russell from LA. I think it's this Russell right now. Dennis, David, Canberra, Brutterman. Some of you, you know, you're like, and I've talked about this in the book, some people get to here and they never really get much beyond this because they don't need to. I occupy a place where I'm comfortable. I understand this. I kind of prefer the development mode in here, right? And when I was younger, I could do it over here, but I'm so fragmented now and so busy, it's hard for me to really hang out. So over here is where you're using the most crazy lean design stupid stuff, and you're coding, and people get into this over here. They can do SQL and this, that, and the other thing. Between brand new developer and intermediate, it's a white space. That's where people hang out in there, and then between intermediate and senior, right? So there's this kind of a graduation of level. Joel 11 has a question. I have a question about control tabs and setting them. Is there a way to make 2 rows of control, put them on the side? Looking for videos on the side. Yeah, I mean, in terms of tab controls, Calvin, just off the top of your head, I don't know if I've done vertical. Well, Nick has covered that in lean design. I would look.
Nick's Red Downtown sample file has the vertical.
Which means, okay, so which means that if you're, so I'm just going to answer this question since it's not really in the book. It's not really a book question. So let me go over here real quick. So if I go, I'm going to lose this just for the moment. We're going to lose that for the moment. So I want to pop a browser. Hang on, let me see if I can. I need to show my screen over here. 1 second. Okay, I got my browser. If I go to individual courses right here, and you go to this free course, this Lean Design right here course. This is for those of you who've not seen the updates on this. So attention, everyone. So every year Nick does this like 2-week extravaganza. And so Nick does a lot of other stuff, but his original Lean Design is me in here in 2019. These are the videos in here, sample file here. These two here have different video sets, but it's the same sample file, okay? That stuff is covered in here somewhere, wherever it's the side accordion or wherever that's at. I'm not sure, but it's either in 2019 or 2020. There's about 10 videos in each side over here. The section he just did on neomorphism stuff is all right here. That is a separate, if you can see it changes here, it's a separate download file right here. So that is updated content on that end of stuff. But yeah, good question on that. I'm just going to direct them to Nick, because I know Nick covers those. Because the starting point we started dealing with in the preferences, the new version of starting point, the preferences have the tabs kind of vertically instead of horizontally across, right? And then it also gets into this topic of accordions. So, yeah, so there's the other TK556781, one of our moderators. Can you post the link to the training? It's the bit.ly link with the FM training on it. That would be great, because you can also go to that stuff and find it. So you can open this up. Up comes your FileMaker file. It runs an update for you. And what it's going to do is it allows you to access all the videos that we've ever created, pretty much. But yeah, so if you want to learn about the button bar, just do a search. What you do is you come over here in the course. For those of you who want to see this, you can just type up here what you're searching for. You can type like button bar. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a found set of videos, and they're in the order kind of the highest order priority that we have them, right? So button bar, new control styles, things like that. So there's some videos in here. That's how you do a find for that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? And these videos all stream off the internet. So you can download this player. It's free. When you take a look at the courses, like you have courses here, these are the free courses here. If you buy our annual subscription, you get a license key, and then it turns all this stuff on down here for you. Haley's here. Haley, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone. It's been a couple of weeks. I feel like I know it's been a while, but glad to be here in the peripheral.
Peripheral moment with Haley. Yep. So Haley's awesome. We love Haley. So are you even around, Haley? Can you show your screen? Do we want to show your screen, or not your screen, but your face? Where's your smiley face at?
Turn on my video. Sure. Where am I?
Where are you? There's Haley. So she is at her home office.
Hello.
I'm always amazed by the Lionel Richie album from 1982, 3, 4.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, so that she helps run the, well, she's kind of like the director of operations for the company, kind of, I guess, her title. But she basically means kind of like I'm a jack of all trades. She has to be the Mrs. Jack of all trades, running around behind me, cleaning up my messes for the most part. So when I make the book, I got another person helping writing the book, and Haley is kind of gluing. She is the InDesign, so she uses InDesign on the Macintosh. And then you publish it through self-publishing with Amazon, right? How that works. Do you want to tell everyone briefly, if they want to publish a book, how they would do this?
Yeah, if you want to publish a book, it's very complicated through Amazon. In the last couple of years, the way that we've been publishing the book, Amazon's probably changed their process 3 times on us. But I mean, once you have it down, you go to Kindle Direct Publishing, you put all the information in that you need in the book, and then you have to upload it for them to review, and that takes a couple of hours, and it'll pop back with all these errors if there are some, and say, hey, you need to fix these before we can approve it. And
so when they're approving it, though, they're not reading the grammar, and they're not deciding if I've said anything salacious about Claris or anything. They're just looking at for formatting, right?
Yes, formatting. So if there's anything outside of their like frame borders, where you have like that 0.0875 whatever border around the book, if anything goes outside of those margins, they'll flag that. If images are overlapping, things like that.
Yeah. So for example, this book got fatter because we had some pages. So our spine, which is supposed to be one solid color, it's got to be whiter, right? A little bit. Haley, check that out, right? So the blue has to be a little bit whiter for that. And then like little things that come up. So we get these printed along the way just to kind of sample them. The other thing, if you look at the top, I don't know if we can see the date. Yeah, you can see it. See how the date theoretically should be centered between a margin on the top and a margin on the left, but it's really spaced in a little bit. The whole book is like that. So I would bring this up to Haley and go, hey, you want to see if that's supposed to be to the right a little bit, right? And is that correct? And do you want to look at that, right? And I haven't even mentioned this to her, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually something that passes their inspection because they don't know if that's intentional or not, but it fits within their borders of their requirements.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, so yeah, there you go. That's a good one, Moki says. So when they tell you the word bleed on printing, bleed is when you actually have ink that literally goes right to the point where it's cut off, right? So the ink goes right to the point it's cut off. The cover is full bleed, as we say in the business. But I've been trying to get Haley to do bleed on that. So what we did is we add this section in the back of the book, because we really didn't want to stop doing it. And so what we have is this section right here, for those of you wondering about this. And it's basically like a FileMaker 19 summary, like what's the 19 and why do we care? And this is 18, why do we care? And then we started the book at 16, so we have a 17 and a 16. Originally, these were on the outside, but they won't do the regular print pages as full bleed, because the idea was to make it like a big long strip, so you knew that you were like almost like a tab section. And then one day Haley accidentally stuck it in the middle. It actually full bleeds in the middle, but it won't do on the outside, so we just reversed it, right? And so it kind of an accident. That's by doing happy accidents. Yeah, I like that. So so anyway, yeah. So I know it's one of those sort of things. So so they charge us. Have we got an estimate on what the book costs? Because the thing is, if you want to print your own book, you don't have to approve anything. You're just going to put this out in the public. And either they like it or they don't, right? But I mean, you don't have to go to a publisher and say, please take my novel, and they go, oh, I'm sorry, you're not worthy of our publishing,
Yeah, with the online publishing.
Macmillan Publishing
you don't have
or
to
something.
Go through all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You still can, I guess, in with some, depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, for online, just wanting to publish a PDF and put it out there and see what people think. Amazon is the quickest.
So yeah, so do you know what this costs right now as it is? Because it's double-sided and it's 200 and some odd page, it looks like it's 134 pages double-sided, which is 115 regular piece of paper. So you can figure out the cost, but it's not free. And they print them on an as-needed basis out of their warehouses. They figure out what the demand is, and they print. I don't know if they put 20 on a shelf or what they put on a shelf in the different warehouses. And then when they need one, they pull it off the shelf and they stick it in the mail. So kind of Simon and Schuster. There's another one. Yeah, Simon and Schuster. A lot of companies that do that. So anyway, so I guess part of this is understanding the printing business, and going down that road. Interesting.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You'll learn a lot, right? So you're like, oh my God. So, and then you have to have the ISBN number or IBSN number or whatever on the back. So you have your official barcode that no one else has, right? So.
Correct, yeah, and you can either get that free and have Kindle make it for you, or you can make your own and pay to have them put it on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, so long as we keep asking people for feedback or asking for changes or making changes, this book is like a live, always changing, always adapting thing. Once we get it to the point where it's mostly done, we'll publish it, and then if we have small things that need to be updated, we can do small updates to the PDF on Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to make you more vertical over here, Haley. So, so if I go to the PDF over here, wherever the book went, let me see if I can find the book. Where did it go? Here it is right here. So what's interesting about, so you could print this now, obviously, and people do that, and we will give printed copies away to people. The book is if you want to have a printed copy of the book. But, yeah, once again, and if you have questions about this, feel free to ask. But the goal was there was originally a book that was written for FileMaker 6 by a previous guy, and he's still credited in the back of the book. His name was David Catchell, who's retired, and he's probably 70 years old now. And he wrote really a first cut of this thing. And I tried to, but he quit, he kind of got out of FileMaker at 6 and gave up on it a little bit, maybe played with 7 a little bit. And I tried to buy this from him, and he wanted me to buy his entire company, and I just said, I'm not playing that game. So he eventually sold me the rights to the original. He never printed it. It was a PDF. And we took that book, I don't know, 3 years ago and made edits to it, and basically we come out with edits whenever Claris has updates. So part of Claris's strategy, whatever you want to call it, I assume it's a strategy, it's not been articulated out to the consultants as of today. And that is what they're doing, because they have version 19 of the file, but they keep doing these agile rolling releases. And I talked to their product managers, and they were all pushing to start naming the product after a year, like FileMaker 2020, FileMaker 2021, blah, 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 blah. And so that's not happened, obviously. And so the question is, at some point, so FileMaker still sells some perpetual membership. So I want you folks to think about this a little bit. And hey, Rafael from Brazil, welcome. FileMaker sells some perpetual membership purchases. So you buy it, you own it. So if you buy 19 over the last year, as they have new updates, you're going to get those updates for free. If they never change their version, right? If they never change their version, then people are going to get updates for free forever. Now, if you're on a subscription, which I sell subscriptions mostly, a lot of people have an annual subscription, then you get the subscription as long as you're paying that update. But we have to pay every year, and that person who bought it, the 19, and then, that was May of last year. So what happens May of this year? What is Claris doing? I don't know. So that's why I kind of expect that there'll be, we've already had a cover made up for the late 2021 book. so as we can adjust the trajectory, try to explain to the Bunnies and the Megans of the world what their trajectory even is, right? What is their trajectory? Ned Lobster says, didn't Microsoft get really screwed when they named it OS after year and they didn't update for 5 years? Yeah, except that Claris is sending out updates every 3 months or 2 months or, okay, so this gets to this, we talk about this here, this rolling release thing in chapter 2 or chapter 3, wherever it's at, chapter 3. And the agile development rolling release, they seem to ship within every 3 to 4 months a new update. However, they had a serious bug into this last year where it was 3 weeks between ships. So I notate that in there. It's not like a 3-month thing or 4-month thing and it's set in concrete. It's when they feel like it. And so if they want to continue people buying the product and feeling good about it, they're going to have to ship updates to this thing, at least bug fixes. Do you deliver to Portugal? Okay, so Jay Monheim, this is a really great question. So we have thought about getting these books and giving them to people and shipping them to you, and I didn't want to become Amazon. And so the question is, does Amazon ship to Portugal? I don't know. Do they ship to Portugal? You tell me. If they do, then you can get the book because you can buy it on Amazon, right? That kind of thing.
Yes.
So it seemed to me that the biggest company in the world, pretty much Amazon and Apple, they could figure it out. I honestly don't know where Amazon doesn't ship to. I assume they ship pretty much everywhere in the world. I think the shipping cost is the question. And then what I didn't want to do is get in the business trying to ship it like to some obscure place in Siberia. And the book is $20, and then we have to charge $80 for shipping and then it gets lost, and I have to pay $80 twice. My business is not shipping. My business is trying to educate and to make all of you successful. But literally, if you're successful, then I'm successful by extension, right? That's my job. Is to make you successful. Go ahead.
And I wanted to answer Bunny's question. Yes, so Amazon prints the books for us and makes them for us. So we just give them the PDF and they print and ship it to wherever, based on the locations that are selected with the type of account that we have set up. It is easier to get the PDF to all over the country, obviously, because it's just a PDF. It's a Kindle, book, what have you. The printed versions, Amazon has different restrictions on those, but we do Amazon ES. That was a weird sentence the way I said that. So people should be able to get that if they order through Amazon.es.
Yeah, so you'll be able to get the PDF, and in worst case, you can print it if you want. But we wanted to make it available to everyone as best we could, and Amazon was the best way of doing that. So in a very simplified version, we create, at a very basic level, you can create a book in Word, Microsoft Word, then create a PDF and upload it to Amazon. A very simplified sort of thing. Now, of course, we had to take it beyond that. So we're using InDesign because we needed all the fancy booky kind of formatting with the pages and the columns and everything else, right? So, and there's a table of contents and everything else. So really, it's for the most part kind of past Word. Initially, we were in Word, and then we ended up moving it over to InDesign. And I know Haley doesn't love InDesign, but I think it's kind of we're stuck. Right?
I mean, in design in school, InDesign was one of the biggest programs that we used. I just learned when it first came out, and there's been quite a few renditions of InDesign since I was in college.
Yes, we'll catch everyone tomorrow. It's awesome. The bunny with all the images is crazy. But yeah, I would look forward to each and every one. I mean this very truthfully, honestly. All you folks are great. I really love you. I mean that honestly. I really like, without being overly weird about it. We have a great customers. It's a great community. I would love nothing more than to buy everyone dinner at a DEF CON and take you out and away from the place, and we just have our own like thing for an evening. Would be awesome. So yeah, because you make great products, you make great things, your heart's in the right place. Calvin, you have anything emotionally or inspirational to say?
It's always a pleasure joining you on these live streams. I really enjoy it.
Well, your job is secure by lying like that, so that's a good thing. Excellent work. Haley, any final things? Yes? Nope? Yep. Nope.
No, just thank you for having me, and it's always fun to be here.
Spreading the love to everyone. Jake, Sheila, I like that. Spreading the love. All right, folks. Thanks. See ya.
Just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Trying to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snaps a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.